First of all, I'm a big fan.
We have air conditioners, alhamdulillah. May Allah promote you to an AC. They have so much dead hearts and black hearts. And you find people in the heart of Medina and in Mecca with zero iman. This is a guy, a taxi driver, 15 years, working in the Haram, taking people and pilgrims and people of Umrah to the Haram for 15 years, and they've never entered the Haram. The souls are like soldiers in an army, and I don't like their guts. I don't like their vibes. And he says, Allah loves this individual, so love him. Why is this particular individual loved by so many people? You might be a Swiftie, and she has like 70 million followers. There is a difference between having a friend and having a colleague. The problem, and the biggest problem, is to be loved. The problem is, does Allah love you or not? When you say Allahu Akbar, it has a different meaning.
So talking about Hijra, do you think every Muslim should consider making Hijra?
I have 3 stents in my heart since 2017. I used to bench press 100 kg. So I just keep a physique that when I put my jeans and t-shirts, looks good. That's it. Relatively speaking, yes, we're much more conservative. But this is not something that would make a huge difference. Except for someone who's a bit sick and too horny. Excuse my French. Normal people, okay. I go to Canada and I see things. I go to London. I go to Europe. Okay. Yeah, it's outrageous, but this is your test from Allah. Do you have a father? Okay. You have a mother? Is she a sweet person?
Yes, generous.
And you're kind to her. Imagine if your mother was the sweetest woman on earth, giving you $1,000 every day. You, mom, I don't need this. No, I would like to have it. And she serves you, she serves your wife and children, and she goes around the relatives and friends saying, my son is the best man on earth. He's so generous, he's so kind, he's so brave. Would it be difficult to be dutiful and respectful to her? Where's the test?
Yeah, wow.
I'm wise, huh? See, this is what Allah created you for. If you're living in utopia, there's no fun. But when there's temptation, and you stand for the sake of Allah and say, no. Yusuf, if you go through the Quran, Sheikh Samir most likely have told you about this. Yusuf was sold as a slave when they found him in the well, bought by the king of Egypt, raised by him, then as a foreigner, as a young man full of energy, seduced by the wife of the king when they were alone, and he was harshly tempted. Now, no one would stand. So, he passed the test with flashing stars. Alhamdulillah. This is the same that's happening to all of us. Life is a test. Allah tested, created us to be tested. And all what you're going to live is like 60, maximum 70 years of age. Then what? Khalas. 6 feet under. But if you made it, you've made it for good, forever. So there is no point of, again, excuse my French, bitching and whining. Saying, oh, we have so much fitna. Okay, welcome to the club. You have fitna. Let's go to Gaza and see the people there. What fitna are you talking about? You've got benefits in Australia. You've got life. You've got medical services free, I think. Yeah. Education, you blah, blah, infrastructure. You've got the power of the passport that maybe 90% of the population of Earth are envious of. And then you're saying, oh, Sheikh, wallahi, we want to do this, we want to do... You have it made. So all what you have to do is identify the glass you're drinking from. Is it half full or half empty? It's the same. It's the same glass. But it depends on how you look at it. I don't know if this makes sense. This is what you think. Unfortunately, if you ask Sheikh Samir or Sheikh Abdullah, how many of the people living less than 2 kilometers from Al-Haram have lived for 40 years and not entered it? Of the locals. It's in the heart. What were you drinking of just a while ago from your...
A large bottle of water.
Of Zamzam.
Zamzam, yes.
And one of the shuyukh was asked by his student. And he said to him, Sheikh, why is Zamzam not tasteful? Zamzam is not tasteful, is it?
I like it.
It's not that sweet. It's
Yeah,
just
no.
a Prière or whatever. It's a little bit salty. So why is it not that tasteful? The Sheikh said, so that Allah knows who drinks it for His sake.
Yes.
This is your test.
Wow.
People living in Mecca, they don't know even the Haram, how to go to the Haram. They have so much dead hearts and black hearts that they don't feel the urge to go. So I know people in Jeddah of my own relatives that have been here for 60 years. They went only once for Hajj and once for Umrah. One in their lives. And it's a stone throw to us. So when you come and say, oh, I wish to come here and live here, you don't know what will happen after 5 months or 6 months of seeing it. I remember 20 years ago, when I used to work with the corporate companies, I was an executive, and my office was in the 6th floor, overlooking the seaport of Jeddah, one of the fanciest offices and locations in Jeddah. Everyone, and it was a huge office. It was for the CEO. When he left to another place, I said, I'd like to take it. He said, take it. So even the directors and the vice presidents don't have this office. Everyone who came into the office was mesmerized by the view for about 15, 20 seconds. And I just sit there and watch them. And I say, you like what the view? He said, wow, the view is magnificent. He said, I've been working here for 5 years. I don't even pay attention to it. Why? The heart is dead. I've seen it so many times. So, unfortunately, what dictates your level of Iman is not attributed to the land.
Where you live.
It is attributed to your own heart. You'd find people in Sydney, in Melbourne, in London, in Paris, and even in Monaco, with the highest level of Iman that anyone would expect. And you find people in the heart of Medina and in Mecca with zero Iman. So be careful. Don't say that. I'm not saying that coming to the Holy Lands and living there is not a plus. Of course, it's the best thing ever. But again, don't make it a maker or breaker of a deal.
Yes.
It's all here that you have to fix. Learn your religion, increase your Iman, and then wherever Allah puts you, you become a beacon of light.
Sure.
This is a guy, a taxi driver, 15 years, working in Al-Haram, taking people and pilgrims and people of Umrah to the Haram for 15 years, and you've never entered the Haram.
It's amazing. 15.
And you're just a few steps away.
Sheikh, for context, obviously I'm a revert, as the brothers mentioned. So I've grown up with like Western, like wives' tales, Western culture, wives' tales and all these things. And one thing I've been curious about prior to being Muslim, but especially from this trip, and since being Muslim, is the old sort of ideology of deja vu and what deja vu is. Is there anything in the Quran or the Hadith that...
It's just like the karma. So there isn't anything as deja vu, because deja vu means that I've been there. Yeah. I've done this. No, this is your subconscious. And as Muslims, we do not believe in a previous life that you've been in. So, okay, maybe I met one of those, Druze from Lebanon. And the Druze is a cult that claim to be Muslims. They're not Muslims. So I met one of them, and he was, trying to get closer to me and, being courteous. I'm courteous to everyone, and I don't face people with hostility. So once we were talking, and I said to him, Akhi, why don't we see you in the masjid? He's a neighbor. He said, I'm Durzi and we don't pray in your masjid. I said, oh, subhanallah. And I played dumb. And then he said to me, I love to go to the beach and to swim and to ski. So I said, they believe in reincarnation. So I said, you might have been a fish in a previous life. And the guy laughed his head off. You're dangerous, man. You know too much. So we do not have this concept. Yeah. We know that we're born, we live, and we die. Yeah. But your subconscious, a movie you saw, a dream you've dreamt of, this gives you a recollection of, I think I've been there. I think this would happen. And it's just a coincidence that takes place. Your subconscious plays games on you.
Okay. Interesting. Very good point.
What about the hadith of the souls that meet before we're born? There
isn't any hadith to my recollection of souls meeting before birth. The Prophet said in a hadith, الأرواح جنود مجندة ما تعرف منها ائتلف وما تناكر منها اختلف. The souls are like soldiers in an army. Whatever knows one another, it would find this bond and chemistry. Some people I meet, and there might be da'is or great scholars of Islam with many followers. When I meet them, I feel, and I don't like their guts. I don't like their vibes. And I'm a peaceful guy. Not that peaceful, but
usually.
I just, try to be polite and diplomatic, but keep my distance. Sometimes you meet people and you feel that you know them forever. And you go out of your way to help them and to be with them and to give them gifts and blah, blah, blah. So this is what the hadith says, but no deja vu.
Is this before creation?
No. This is now.
Oh.
This hadith is an explanation of why would I find chemistry with why would I like someone? And this is in accordance to hadith of the Prophet ﷺ when he said that when Allah loves an individual, he calls Jibreel and said, Jibreel, I love this individual, so love him. So Jibreel loves him. And he calls the angels of the heavens. And he says, Allah loves this individual, so love him. So the people of the heavens love him, and acceptance is placed for him in this life. Why is this particular individual loved by so many people? And we're not talking about people of sins and kufr, because you might be a Swiftie and she has like 70 million followers, but this doesn't mean that she's loved by Allah. We're talking about the people of Islam, of righteousness, of the masjid. Why do they love this particular individual? Because Allah loves him and Allah placed acceptance for him. Sometimes you find a da'i, a scholar, a professor of Islam, and people hate his guts. Why? Because there is no acceptance of him, for him. There's an attitude. There is a bad seed in his heart, but we can't point it out. So Allah Azza wa Jal puts this rejection of people in people's hearts. I don't know if this makes sense.
First of all, I'm a big fan.
We have air conditioners, alhamdulillah. May Allah promote you to an AC.
So the question is, obviously, us brothers, we live in Australia. So a lot of us might have non-Muslim friends. What do you think about having a friend like that's very close to you?
There is a difference between having a friend and having a colleague. So I have Christians who I know. Sometimes if I go to the gym, I may work out and they come and we chit chat. They're not buddies. They're not my best friends. I don't hang out with them. I don't confine in them and tell them, oh, this happened with my relatives, my wife, my blah, blah, blah. No. But they, like you guys say, good day. And yeah, that's as far as it gets. And we may maybe play a squash game together, maybe just exchange greetings. But to be close to them, take them as allies and confidants. No, this is not permissible. Now, if you have relatives or Shia or disbelievers and you think that if I speak to them, I may be able to attract them, to bring them closer to Islam, to Sunnah, blah, blah, blah. That's a win-win. This is the role of a Muslim, to be a magnet to all good things. And if it doesn't work, I have so many people to divert my effort and work to, rather than focusing on this individual. Why would I invest in a losing company?
We have a question from a follower. It says, what acts of worship increase the love of Allah in my heart and make me beloved to Him?
See, the problem is not to love. The problem, and the biggest problem, is to be loved. Everyone, even the Jews and Christians, claim that they love Allah. So, good luck. The problem is, does Allah love you or not? So you can do so many things and you claim that you love Allah, but does Allah love you? This is the acid test that you have to ask yourself. All acts of worship gets you closer to Allah. The most beloved is to recite the Quran, to memorize the Quran, to understand the meaning of the Quran. The most noble science of all in Islam is
Aqidah.
Aqidah is an elastic word.
Tawheed.
Tawheed is part of Aqidah. The Quran, but the most beloved science to Allah Azza wa Jal and the most noble of all is the knowledge of Allah's beautiful names and attributes. Because the value of the science relies entirely on what you're studying. So if you're studying Allah Azza wa Jal, what could be better? And this is the cornerstone of Tawheed. You can understand Tawheed al-Rububiyyah, al-Uluhiyyah, but without knowing who Allah is, you have nothing. So when you know Allah, when you spend and devote your time and effort to know what are Allah's beautiful names and what all are Allah's attributes, when you say Allahu Akbar, it has a different meaning. So many Muslims, I ask them, how many names does Allah have? 99. This is what the hadith says. But Allah's names are unlimited. They're far more. But the things that the Prophet told us about, 99 names, if you count them, memorize them, implement them, know the meaning of them, you will enter Jannah. Good. Then I ask my second question. How many of these names do you memorize? People say, 15, maybe 10. Said, no problem. So you are 10% knowledgeable of Allah. Of these 10 names, how many do you know the meaning of? Then I said, 102. So why are you complaining that my prayer has no sweetness? I'm unable to enjoy it. Sometimes I skip it. I don't find the motive and the drive. Because you don't know Allah. Very simple. If you knew Allah, all these fitnas you're complaining of will disappear. You'll have full trust in Allah. Because, oh, Sheikh, I have to work in an interest-based bank. I have to sell liquor. I have to deal with haram. I have to go to a synagogue or to a temple and pretend to be a Hindu. I have to do that. Why? Because if I don't, I will not have salary. I will not have money. I will be kicked off the house. If you had trust in Allah, if you knew Allah, none of this would have happened. So people don't know Allah. And this is how you increase your iman. Number one, know Allah. Beautiful names, attributes. Number two, aqidah. Number three, Quran. How many times do you finish the Quran? A month. People say, a month? Yeah. I finished Quran about, like in 2019 in Ramadan. But I'm working on it. I'm working. Akhi, the minimum you finish Quran is once a month. This is the minimum. One juz every day, bare minimum. I know people who revise 5 juz a day, from memory. Every 6 days they finish the Quran from memory, just to keep it steady. 6 days. So you come and tell me, yeah, but I'd like to make hijrah. What have you done? 0. So start building the foundation before you think of, and make hijrah. What's your income? What's your finance? So nothing, Sheikh, I'm a cab driver. So you're going to come and work in Mecca doing what? I have saved money. Yeah, you live for 6 months, deplete your money, then start begging people, then go back to Australia. You don't have a job. And then you start begging people over there. Then you resent Islam. Then you say, maybe I should go back to my old ways. Yeah, it's difficult. It's a test. So play your game well if you want Allah Azza wa Jal to take care of you. I don't know if this... I'm good at diverting from questions that I don't feel like speaking of.
Rapid fire now. It's rapid fire.
Yeah, so just if you want to answer quickly or whatever. So talking about hijrah.
You got 4 minutes, huh? 4 minutes.
Okay, inshallah.
This is rapid fire.
Yeah, so.
No, I'm fine with it.
Yeah, so talking about hijrah, do you think every Muslim should consider making hijrah?
See, hijrah was directed to us by the Prophet ﷺ. He said, أنا بريء ممن يقيم بين ظهراني المشركين تتراءى حبيبي جزاك الله خير تتراءى نارهما. I have nothing to do with a Muslim who lives among the disbelievers in the proximity where if they light fire for cooking, they can see each one's fire. They're so close. Of course, we live in building blocks. We live in neighborhoods. We live in so many places that are so close to one another. Drink with your right hand, my friend. Aha, you're in the presence of the Sheikh.
I'm a revert.
I've got my guns on me. Sorry, this is an old habit. When I see something like this, I have to point it out. So, the Prophet ﷺ told us to migrate. Now, migration is essential, but if a person was born and raised there, and there is no better alternative, meaning if he goes to a Muslim country, they'll kick him out in 6 months, or he would not have a suitable job, or his social status and economic level would be so bad that his wife would divorce him, his children would go astray. We say, no, stay where you are. If you're able to practice Islam, you are able to pray on time, your wife is able to wear the niqab, your children can go to Muslim schools, nobody's forcing you to do something haram per se. So remain where you are, try your level best to improve your income, maybe, diversify your investments so that you would have steady income that allows you to go to a Muslim country, whether it's Egypt, whether it's Turkey, whether it's Malaysia, whether it's Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia is very expensive, and we don't accept people. Yeah, and if you have $300,000, you can get a golden permanent residency. مليون هي ولا الحين؟ أقل شوي, maybe a little bit less. But again, if you have this amount of money, so yes, once you are able, come.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. First of all, I love your content. Always makes us laugh. So jazakallah khair for that. And as well as, it's really good for the deen. But my question is, because we don't have time, so I'll just say a quick one. You talked about gym and how you go there. What's your PR for bench?
I have 3 stents in my heart since 2017.
Oh, okay.
You know what stents are?
Sounds cool.
Your arteries become blocked. So they insert 3 stents to keep them open. So before that, I used to bench press 100 kg. After my operation, doctor said, no more heavy weights. So I reduced like 70% of the weights I do, due to the fact that doctors, all my cardiologists and heart surgeons said, no weights. So I just keep a physique that when I put my jeans and t-shirts, looks good. That's it.
And just off that, one thing I realized while coming here, there isn't many gyms, and those facilities are not, I don't know, maybe.
No.
Nah?
One of the
Medina, Mecca.
No. Jeddah and Medina and all over Saudi Arabia, we have the best gyms.
Okay.
My grandson goes to one of the gyms. ايش اسمه الجيم حقك؟ Fitness Time.
ما شاء الله.
Fitness Time. We're endorsing الدعاية يعني يمكن تدونا فلوس. Fitness Time is one of the gyms. They have like maybe 40 or 50 outlets all over the country. And the fun thing is, if you're a member in one of them, anywhere you go, you can be admitted. So it's like, oh, good, you've changed from left to right. I was almost gonna. I could see the shock on your face.
He's already got called once by the Imam of Mecca, because I think he was drinking with his left hand.
Yeah, alhamdulillah.
Twice. Double trouble.
That's good.
So, alhamdulillah, we have lots of gyms. And we have lots of sports clubs, paddle outlets, football, small courts for eight players and the likes, and we're everywhere.
It's very important for the deen, in terms of praying and etc.
It's not an essential thing. It is a subsidiary. It's something that's a third or a fourth in the priority list. But it is essential to have.
Because we are running out of time.
We ran out of time already.
Okay.
The adhan is cold, so.
Just a quick one. Every 30-second answer. Does Islam allow child marriage?
Is it legal anywhere in the world? So what's the point of the question? This question is posed by Islam haters. So it's a legal thing. It's like does Islam endorse concubines? Can I buy one? So no, it's prohibited worldwide. So why are you asking? First of all, was child marriage allowed 15 centuries ago? Yes or no?
Yes.
All over the world, Christians, Jews, and so why are you guys jumping the gun on Islam? Secondly, what's the legal age for in Peru, Mexico, France, Japan? You'll find that it goes down to 12, 13, and 14 years of age, till date. So what's the problem?
I'm not saying there is a problem.
I know you're not saying, those who's asking. Yeah. Because they want to bring you back to why did Prophet Muhammad marry Aisha when she was 9 years of age?
So let's say if I have a 5-year-old daughter and I wanted to marry it off to him, I'm allowed to do that?
you'd be a stupid schmuck.
Okay, listen. Let's say Isa comes down, the end of times, okay? I say, I want to marry my daughter after Isa, 5-year-old.
If she was even 5 months old, yes?
Okay, that's...
Isa, who's in his right mind would reject Isa? Come on, give me a break. But those who ask such questions, you look at their agendas. It's not 1 + 1 = 2. No, they have a reason. And if you're not qualified or equipped or know the background, you would put yourself and others in trouble.
MashaAllah, yeah.
I think we still got time.
Aisha, you guys lost Maghrib. You're used to it. No pun intended, but...
Sheikh, can we take a final photo maybe together?
Sure,
If that's possible?
perfect.